much it. I'm gonna share the links if you want to share whatever it is that you're working on.
What?
I'm gonna share the links and stuff to the stream if you want to let people know what you're working on. What are you working on?
The turret to the Dune Crawler.
Ah, okay.
The one that I got in the trade. Got it primed up, and then I got some other. Oh shit, getting some red. Some Vanguard that I got primed up a little bit. These guys might need to actually get reprimed. So I was just trying to do quick, and it's kind of fuzzy. Like I didn't prime them well. That's okay. We'll get to them.
Alright, I am gonna work on Hulkbuster because I've been telling my kiddo for quite some time now that I was gonna work on Hulkbuster. Technically, it's his Hulkbuster. I kind of conned him into eating something, and then I was like, "Oh, if you eat this thing, I'll let you buy Hulkbuster." I need to find one of my not so dirty painting palettes. Up there it is. Let's not knock over all of our cameras. Sweet. All right. So I'm gonna need a gold and a red. And I guess I'll need a blue eventually for doing some of the what do you want to call them, like light parts. I don't know if just doing that with the speed paint will work, but we'll try it.
Will probably work.
Alright, so this is what we're going to go for. I'm going to try to copy the box as best that I can here.
Yeah, I'm going for a basic Mars, that Mars red scheme on my Dune Crawler, because that is what I've done most of my Skitari in. Or all of my Skitari will be in that same thing, so everything's getting that theme.
I think I'm going to go for my gold first, so should just be Zealot Yellow. Some speed paint here. Oh, that one camera is like backwards. See if we can fix that. Settings. Is there settings? Just flip a camera around. Show additional settings. No. Well, people are just going to deal with that one being backwards. Alright. Gotta figure out which brush I want. So, I finally bought, like, 5 is way too big. Like some really nice, fine. Usually I just buy the cheapest brushes, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I did get a set. They were $20 for um, these guys. I haven't busted them open yet,
Okay.
but finally spent some money on some brushes. sorta recently. It was a bit ago, but I figure out which.
Yeah, I'm mostly the Hobby Lobby pack that's on sale type of guy.
Yes. Well, I'm usually these here. You buy them on Amazon, you get like 10 packs of these
Yeah.
for like $15 or something.
Yep.
Alright.
Yeah, and they always have sizes that you're like, I'll never use that size, but you're just like, it's just such a good deal to even get the,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And like some of the, I mean, not even like the sizes are unusable. It's just some of them are bigger.
Then the inconsistencies with some of them. This one here is a 4,
Uh-huh.
and it is much smaller than this one that is a 2. So it's like from brand to brand. It's like, what are we doing? So we're gonna start with this 4.
So what I'm using actually is a 5 right now. It's a big. Um, what I did is I primed the turret in Mephiston Red, and I'm going back over it with Mephiston Red from the pot, and just making sure it's done over nicely, got all like the cracks and crevices, and that way it also matches the paint so I can touch up with it later.
Mm-hmm.
So if I make a mistake on a different color and I have to go back and touch up, it's technically all going to be the same. And I'm primed with Mephiston Red because I've done enough of this red now to know it takes like 3 coats to go over gray.
Right.
And I ain't got the time for that, even though I love this red.
So I'm gonna do my gold in this Zealot yellow, which I airbrushed this guy with a Zenithal and then did like an extra Zenithal of the hell do you want to call it? Like silver, basically.
Yeah.
And then I'll hit it with the speed paints and then highlight with like an actual gold or something.
The one thing that I've been super reluctant about using the um, contrast on my Skitarii is just because I knew with these vehicles, there's a bunch of flats, obviously, that you can see, and the contrast just does not like those flat areas that well. It like does weird stuff. Well, not even does weird stuff. It just, if you leave a brushstroke in the wrong spot, it can just not look right. And I was like, no, I want it flat.
Also trying to figure out where I can put the UFC fights in my window so that I can see UFC, our stream, and chat. All right, here we go. All right, we are at officially 8 minutes and 30 seconds into the stream. The goal is to do Hulkbuster in an hour. So, and away we go.
Do you know that Anthony Presley right now is actually the cook for Tyson Fury?
Really?
I think that's it. Yeah. Be a friend him on Facebook if you can find him.
Yeah.
He posts like pictures all the time of like the dudes in fight camp right now. I don't know who his next fight is, but he's obviously like training and doing his stuff.
Anthony was he was the one closer to our age, right?
No. He was the one.
He was the one that graduated and we were like 4th grade probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you watch the girls' game today by chance, or listen to it because it was $12 to watch it?
Nope.
Oh.
It's $12 to watch it.
Yeah, it's $12 to watch it.
Jesus.
Or you can sign up for a year for $70, and it's like, listen, I need you like once a year for about 15 minutes. Like,
is your sister on the team?
Yeah, so Addison's a freshman. She dressed. She didn't play much this year for varsity.
Gotcha.
But like, 2 of the starters, or yeah, I think 2 of the starters are freshmen this year. So I think they're only losing 2, maybe 3 seniors.
Does she do all like that club volleyball and stuff, or did she
Yeah,
do all that club? Yeah.
yeah,
See, that's honestly how you get good in volleyball is you just always do the club and
right.
that type of stuff.
Well, and you know that's part of it. That like my other sister, she graduated. My mom was like super mad that she didn't go to college and play, and she was talking to me about it. She's like, "Yeah, mom's like really pissed, but she's like, I'm just done." She's like, "I'm burnt out. I'm done." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, them girls have played volleyball like every fucking day since they were like
Mm-hmm.
children. I mean, they're still children, but like, you know, tiny people.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like,
Crazy thing is, so yeah, they. I mean, they just play so much, but that's honestly like that's how you get good. Like,
right, right. It just takes like that special kind of psychopath to like want to keep going.
uh huh.
Same thing with all them dudes that played what the hell was the basketball league?
AAU.
Yeah, all the dudes that played AAU, and I'm like, listen, guys, like we already play basketball, like we already play all summer, anyways, for the school. Like, why do you guys play all? I never got it, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing too, like, so Casey, she did all that JO stuff when she was younger in high school. I mean, she was on like Black Swamp and like
Mhm.
went to nationals and like won a lot of stuff, and she was good, but nobody at Seneca East did club, and they
Right.
sucked when she was in school. Her actual club coach is Monroeville's head coach right now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So Casey's usually like excited about watching him because she's like, oh, that was my coach, and she's like, she was really good because all they do is teach. They're like they hark on like fundamentals.
Mhm.
Like that's all they do. Like they just drill fundamentals and make them fundamentally good instead of being like extra, you know.
Right. What is going on with this knee on this other side?
Feeling pretty good about this guy right now. Got some good coverage. Didn't do the bottom. Not really planning to do the underside of it. And he'll get set. Do some drying. And I'm gonna start working on some of these fools.
Hmm. What else we got here? We have like this little underbelt sort of area. Yeah, I was like half-assed ready to be like, oh yeah, we'll paint and stream for a little bit and this and that, and then I forgot like the UFC card tonight, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm not going to bed until this is over. So
I mean, what are the fights? I mean, like, I'm guessing there's like good fights tonight.
okay, so there's one dude who was pretty unarguably the greatest kickboxer of all time. I mean, it's hard to debate.
What's his name?
I can't think of it right now. Maybe they'll show it in a second. Um, but he come over to UFC, and like normally when people do that, like they're okay, but like once you
Mm-hmm.
add the takedowns and all the bullshit, like it just doesn't work out. This
Right.
dude
Yeah.
has been murdering people since he got here. Murdering people. Like, so he's getting a title fight tonight after only having 3 UFC fights. I mean, the guy's like almost 40 years old, I think,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but he's an absolute unit. So we'll see. And he's fighting a guy that he knocked out twice while kickboxing, but it was really early in Adesanya's career and stuff. So I'm about to just like punch gold in on this dude, like where I feel like gold needs to be, and then just kind of go from there. I'm kind of sort of tired of looking at the picture already. Only thing I'm really worried about is keeping it symmetrical. If I paint something gold on one side, it's got to be gold on the other.
Da, da, da. So what days are you available to game over Thanksgiving?
Um, I think the only day I work Tuesday night that week, and then
I mean, we're not.
I work
Okay,
Friday, and I think that's pretty much it for me for that week.
gotcha. I'll have to see when we're free because I know on like Saturday I'm obviously gonna watch the Ohio State Michigan game.
Right, of course.
So,
I'm assuming they're having
prob
like a whole shindig for that.
who? What?
Are
Having a
are are
shindig?
they having like a party for that?
Oh, my dad and Lavin?
Wherever you're watching it, I don't know.
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, we usually don't do like a party or anything. We usually just watch it at like her parents' house. But like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna sit down and watch the game.
Right, right.
Like, it's gonna be 1 versus 2 unless either team fucks up next week.
That's only ever
So,
happened one other time, right?
the last time that it was 1 versus 2 was 2006
I was gonna say I think we
between
were in eighth grade.
and that was like the game of the decade because it was like the final was like 42-36 or some shit like that. It
But
was a
Ohio State
crazy
was up by
game.
like 24 at one point, I think.
I don't think they were ever that big. They might have been, but yeah, they were up at one point, at least a couple scores, and then Michigan came back, and yeah, this should be another good game too. Buckeyes have just had so many. I'm not even gonna say injuries, but like they have a lot of injuries right now. They're on like their third string running back because the first two dudes have just like one went down. The one dude went down today with like an ankle injury, or it looked like an ankle,
Hmm.
and the other dude he's been like hampering like a lower leg injury. And obviously, for some of these smaller school like these not as good schools, they're just not playing him because they're like you need to be ready for Michigan.
Right.
So the guy that actually got the most of the carries today was a freshman. Um, and then they had a receiver actually a dude that's basically played like every freaking position. He took some carries too, and he actually broke one for like 70 yards. He had like a 70-yard run. It's pretty sweet, but
How uh how happy does it make you that Pittsburgh's longest touchdown all year is 8 yards?
that's kind of crazy,
It's
even for like
kind of crazy, even for bad teams. Like you can't break anything.
what was like. I'd like to know that stat for the Browns in the years that they went
Right, right.
real bad. Like what was their longest TD? Like, well, give me some perspective.
Man, do I need a
And it's hard to get perspective off that list too, almost because like yeah, Buffalo, one of the like the arguably the best team in football, has a 98-yard touchdown, but it's like hell, they could have the 8-yard touchdown even though they're the best team.
true, true. Man, I don't know what I want to paint on the backside of this dude. This is my Rocket and Group paper. I still don't think that any of these papers really show a painting scheme. Nope. Alright, we're winging it, everybody. In a way, we go. We are 11 minutes in here, and I'm still painting all these little gold details. But after this, I'm pretty sure this whole thing's just getting hit with like a crimson color and um hmm, gotta be little pieces of these shoulders. I'm we'll see how it looks when it all gets done, but so far I'm quite happy on the coverage I'm getting on these big flat surfaces
Mm-hmm.
out of the speed paints here.
Yeah, I'm digging my decision to actually just prime these dudes in the color I'm gonna paint on. Because, like, I'm able to move fairly quickly through all. Am I missing a guy? Oh no, I'm retarded.
Alright, let's see. We gotta throw some gold somewhere back here. Do you have any Romeo's Pizza down there?
No.
I think it's like a semi-local chain, and I think Stipe Miocic recently bought them. 'Cause like I went, so we have one here in town, and I went there to pick up the pizza, obviously, because you can't afford delivery anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like all the ads and stuff hanging around were like Stipe, and then it was I don't remember exact verbiage, but it was something about him like partially owning the company or whatever. And I was like, oh, cool.
One of those things where he is like very mildly invested, just to be like, "Hey, you own this."
Right, probably diversify your bonds.
Almost like that saucy brew that's up in Cleveland, where they have so many shares out there. And so many people are like, "Oh, I own them." And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you do.
Let's throw some back here. I'm taking the less is more approach with the gold, but at the same time, you know, you gotta make sure you got it places.
What do you? How did you do it? You primed him. What color now?
So first I airbrushed in black,
Okay.
and then I did a very heavy zenithal, so like a white,
Mm-hmm.
and then I airbrushed him silver, but like almost like a lighter zenithal,
Gotcha.
essentially.
And now you're just using a what shade of speed paint?
Yellow. This is
And it's creating gold.
the zealot yellow. Yeah, and it's creating a pretty decent gold. It's a little dark, but then again, he is kind of dark. And then I'll dry brush it, or not dry brush it, but like edge highlight with either dragon gold or New Gold from Reaper. Or Dwarven Gold. Maybe Dwarven Gold. Dwarven Gold's a very pretty gold.
Getting a good metallic gold is very hard. I don't know if I actually have one that I like.
I feel like I need to do maybe like a piece of this elbow. Sorry if I'm off stream. We're gonna do gold for this piece. And then to do like the jet exhaust type of stuff, I'm probably just gonna grab a light blue and just airbrush it. And then if it gets on the gold and the red or anything, it'll just kind of look like a glow. Anyhow, it's just gonna be super light so that I can really be careful. But I don't think it's gonna be tonight. Those will probably get left silver. These will get done in gold, and then this might be the end of the gold here. Yeah, I'll do that whole piece gold. That way I don't have to take super careful not or trying to get red in just a little bit. All right. I think we're gonna go to a red now. So, unless you have the stream pulled up, you can only see my shitty camera.
Yeah, so it looks nice.
It looks much prettier. If you have the stream camera pulled up, it's much prettier.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I have the stream pulled up right now.
A red. Blood red, slaughter red. Man, I almost want to throw slaughter red. I almost want to throw like one drop of like brown in it. Ooh, maybe I throw one drop of fire orange in it. Fire giant orange. I don't think orange is the right call. Alright, we're going to try just the red. And see, ooh, I didn't realize this piece is gold on the box. Is this whole outline gold? I think it is. We'll do it gold. It'll look pretty. You watch House of the Dragon yet?
I have not seen it yet, no.
Interesting. It's really good.
Yeah, we'll get to it eventually. We just haven't watched her yet.
I'm watching season 6 of Game of Thrones right now, and there's been like I must not have watched like 6 and obviously not 7 and 8 like I've watched 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Mhm.
'Cause I remember parts of like 1 through 5, basically word for word, like many parts.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
there's been a couple of times in season 6 where I'm like, I actually don't remember what's going on right here. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. It's one of those shows too that, like, I know we've done it before where we'll be like, oh, we're in between shows. Like, well, what do you want to watch? And then we'll turn on Game of Thrones and we'll make it through like all of season one, and then like get into some other show,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually we'll get back to it, and it's like, all right, we'll watch season one. And I mean, it's just a good season.
All right, pulling out the Slaughter Red here. Oh yeah, season 1 is so good.
Hmm.
There's just so many little things that end up panning out that you're like, my goodness.
That guy might get touched up again. I'll put him aside.
Sorry, I'm off camera right now if anyone's watching, but this is trying to get a good angle here. I turned on Office Space yesterday. Ronnie'd never seen it. She's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "This is one of the better movies especially to come out of like that late 90s, early 2000s when
Hmm.
you were getting like it was like screams and stuff. Like it was a very weird time in film.
That's crazy that she's never seen it. But Casey comically, in their office, they watched all the screams. Because like in the afternoons, usually they're just like documenting their work from the morning.
Mhm.
So they like turned on. Somebody brought in a projector and they just like put it on a wall in their office space. And while they were documenting, they would just you know watch it.
Uh-huh.
And as much as like she's not even a movie person, but she was like, it actually has kind of held up over time. Like, yeah, it's Scream, but she's like, it's not as terrible as you think it would be.
I'd have to go
So
back, and it's been so long since I've even
I know, yeah,
thought
that's the
about
same thing I
bothering with
said.
anything like that. Damn it, I have a hair on this mini. Where are my tweezers at? Come on. Oh, look, now we get to repaint this whole area because we fingered it all up. Um, you remember the main dude from Stream, David, from Screen? Oh my goodness, Scream, David Ottenball or whatever his name is.
No.
Okay, well he started trying to do like professional wrestling
Hmm.
like a handful of years ago, and he like it's like what he wants to do, you know, like as a career, but he gets a lot of flack from being like an ex-actor basically. I think there's a documentary on it called "You Can't Kill David Ottenball" or whatever his name is.
All right.
But I know he gets like a really hard time, and like people like other wrestlers like try to intentionally hurt him and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, because like I don't know, but he's
That's
he's also like he's like in really good shape and stuff, and but he wrestles on like the like those not he's not in like WWE or anything, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Just like them little knockoff ones.
Interesting. I did not know that. They that surprises me that he wouldn't just. I'm not gonna say like he might be good or bad at it, but And like, I don't know why he get flack for being a former actor doing it. Like, everybody knows they're acting. Like,
Right. I don't
it's
know
just
if
like the
it's
whole performance. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a performance.
I
That's what you're
don't know if
watching.
it's that so much as they're like, "Oh, like you have a different career choice you could do. Like you don't need to be here. You're not one of us," kind of thing. Like I don't really know.
It's just weird. I mean, I could see that, like people being jealous, like, oh, hey, you're actually a talented person,
Sure.
but like,
When I first started putting this red on, I was having some serious doubts, but as it's drying, um really liking it. And then like as I'm putting the red on, I'm finding other places that I want to put gold, which is kind of nice. Just I'm finding spots that like, oh, it makes sense. Like that should be gold. Man, this is a big model. Like it's gonna take some serious paint to get coverage on this thing.
so are you gonna try and get that Battle Force box?
So here's my problem right now is that I was really hoping to get the Elegoo M3 Max what the fuck ever 3D printer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of just waiting for like a right Black Friday deal, and I was gonna buy it on PayPal credit, and then just
Right,
like
right, right.
pay it off as I knock out dice trays, blah 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 blah. It is oh man, I didn't realize how far I was off camera. I need to move this damn thing. It is I want to say if I get like the curing station, the wash and cure combo, and everything,
Mm-hmm.
um, we're talking like around $1,200.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. But I want Mortarion and I want Terminators. Like I might as well get 14 free Plague Marines with it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you'd honestly get that. You have, I mean, I don't know what it looked like. I mean, you have 2,000 points worth of stuff there total, don't you? Like with all your stuff you have.
Right now or with that?
With that, even.
Oh, for
I mean, I
sure.
think, yeah, like you're close now. I know already, aren't you? Because you're.
I I don't think so, honestly. Like the last time we were playing, we're like, oh, we're gonna play 1,000 points, and I started like building my list, and I was like, oh, like that's kind of everything I have.
Oh well, there's a. I mean, well, there's 1,000 in that box then that you're getting. I think.
Oh, for sure.
His Mortar. I
With
mean, I just looked at
Mortarion.
Mortarion after like that, and I was like, what does his thing like? What's he do? Like, what's his shtick here? Um, and like legitimately his data sheet or whatever is like 2 pages long.
I've
Like,
really never even read it because it's so much.
oh yeah, like I looked at it and was like, I'm not reading that. But yeah, one thing I know I've heard with him is he's just like a brick house, a brick shit house, like tank wise.
Mm-hmm. I've
Because
heard.
I know they're some of my units are like, well, how killy are units? And it's like, well, can they kill Mortarion in one round of shooting?
Um, I know I've heard he's kind of MPE, but you probably have to know how to use him correctly for him to really be MPE. To which, you know, it would take me some time.
Right.
We're gonna leave
Because I know
that
too
silver.
that I could take one of my like just because I've seen this because it was like I was looking at my dudes to be like how to maximize their efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
or just be like, how do you use it better? Like, what makes them tick? And they're like, oh yeah, you can kill Mortarion in one round of shooting. And I was like, fucking what? Because he's like, he's got
Well,
like
don't take
these.
that.
What's that?
I said, well, don't take
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, he was. It's just like okay, you do all of like you have to do like 6 things for to get the unit to do it. Like, but you can do them all. I mean, like
Uh
it's not
huh.
like impossible. But they're like, yeah, like in average roll, yeah, you should be able to kill him in one round. And it's like, Jesus, because like it's that whole thing where I can shoot like 80 shots type of
Right,
deal.
right.
It's like, oh yeah, if you do this plus this rule plus that rule plus this and that, yeah, you got it.
Basically, blow your whole load in round one and hope that it works.
I'm going to reprime this dude. He just is a little fuzzy because I don't think I primed him. I didn't give him enough coverage. Yeah, I just went way too thin.
Oh my goodness. I thought I'd just be able to slap paint on this dude and it would go pretty quick, but I mean, I'm 30 something minutes in here and I mean, it looks good. It's just going much slower than I had anticipated.
Mine is going pretty smoothly. Like I said, I'm just making sure I got coverage of this red and that it's even.
This
So
guy.
it looks.
So Joe Rogan's interviewing this guy after the fight. You know, and they do it in the rings. These dudes are all fucking amped up and stuff still.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not real sure what he's saying because he has a very thick accent. But he's like, "You smartest person on planet," telling Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan is a gift. Joe Rogan is a national treasure.
Oh my goodness, he's great. I just watched his episode with Dr. Phil
Mm-hmm.
recently. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Like, and it's also really nice seeing Dr. Phil in a context like that because he's talking about stuff. He's like, yeah, that guy's an asshole, and you're just like, oh shit, like, or he'll talking about, he's like, yeah, it's bullshit. And you're like, oh, like Dr. Phil's a normal person.
You're right. I haven't watched Rogan like a full episode of it or listened to a full episode of his even in a long time. But
I
I mostly
used
like hear like
to,
clips.
I
Yeah.
used to all the time when I had a 45-minute commute to work each way.
Mm-hmm.
But now that my commute is 4 minutes, it takes me longer to get the damn app open than it does to just drive to work. So,
Yeah.
um, but like I have them playing in the background a lot.
Yeah. I'm like not on camera either.
Ugh, we're terrible at this. We're never gonna get a
Mhm.
pro contract.
Yeah, so if anybody watches this after the fact, because I'm not sure how we got any viewers right now, but when you're doing these big flat areas, you can go every which way. So like you can brush sideways, brush whatever, but always finish doing your the brushstrokes in the same direction, because then it'll even them out and make sure they're even. So you can go sideways to get in those nooks and crannies, but then at the end, make sure you do like a flat. I usually go straight up and down type of brushstroke, and it just makes it even and all run the same direction. It's like these little ladder steps. You have this guy go sideways, and it gets a little weird in there. But as long as you finish going up and down, it works.
Hmm.
The Games Workshop did a probably about a month ago now did a balance update for 40K because they do one every 3 months. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like a respectable type of company would do to keep players engaged.
Are you saying there's companies out there that don't do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Anyways.
the balance data slate that they did though, it was almost like they just like phoned that shit in. It is like so bad, and it changed absolutely nothing. It was fucking comical.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't know if they were just like getting ready for like something else, or basically like no, like we're pretty happy where the balance in the game is, even though they like basically have been releasing articles of like here is our actual tournament percentages that we're looking at, and they're like we want everybody to be within like 55 to 45% win rate. You
Mm-hmm.
know, for like 25 factions or 30 factions they have, I'm like that's not too bad.
No,
Like
no, not at all.
trying to balance that. And then they're like, if they're outside of this, up or down, like we want to do something to bring them back in. And there was like 4 total factions that need brought back in. AdMech needed brought up because their win rate right now is like 30%. Like they're terrible. And then Space Marines is like 35% or something like that they showed.
Okay.
And then Necrons are rocking like a 60%, and Tyranids are rocking like a 60%. But
Those are both
all the
spammy kind of armies, right?
Necrons, no. So they're robot. They're not really like spammy, but they they just have like right now in the game they have really good secondaries where they can score like 100 points by round 3.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
you basically like the max points you can score in a game is 100. Because they made their army too good with like too good of secondaries. And Necrons or Tyranids are just really good because they're a little spammy and they just have really good like units and stuff that just either you can't kill them quick enough before they eat your whole army, or um, they're just good, which like it makes sense. But yeah, the balance that they did was just like for AdMech they unnerfed every nerf that they put on them this edition, but they also did that the last nerf or the last update. They like rolled everything back except for like 2 nerfs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, you just didn't do a damn thing. And then for the Space Marines, they're like, oh, this one secondary, instead of scoring 3 points around on it, you can score 4 points around on it. So it's like you gave them 5 more points to win when they're losing by 20 points a game.
Right,
It's
right.
like, and then the ones that they brought them down, it was like so insignificant. It was it's hilarious. Like it's actually almost like a meme. That was
Now, do you think part of that's because they feel like that newer faction just doesn't have enough playtime in it yet to see how everything's really shaking out?
oh well they didn't touch them other than that like emergency nerf that they did.
Uh-huh.
That I remember we talked about. They didn't touch them in the balance data slate at all. But yeah, I'm guessing they haven't touched them again just because they want to see how they shake out.
Interesting.
But I mean, I know like they haven't been winning that much, but also tournaments haven't like their full line of models hasn't been released yet. So tournaments are like you can play them, but like you can't, you know, like we're cool at proxies or
Mm-hmm.
like stuff like that. But like these unreleased models, you can't proxy them because they're like we have no idea how big the actual model is. So you could basically
Right.
3D print that to advantage where it's like a super small model or at least an undersized one that you can hide easier or something like that.
Right. Makes sense.
So they haven't had that much play because the good players just like well have I can only take 3 models that have been released in like that starter boxing.
Man, there is a lot of red to do on this guy. I don't know if I'm gonna leave this little piece back here silver or not. Unless I go back at the end and put like a traditional silver on all the silver. Because there's no way I'm gonna keep that stuff as clean as what it needs to
Yeah.
be. So a buddy of mine sent me this picture yesterday. His um his sister-in-law, his wife's sister.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing some test painting for new interior paint. And so they would like paint like a splotch of this paint on the wall, and then
Mm-hmm.
over top of that, section they would write the letter of the first letter of whatever that paint's name is.
Mm-hmm.
So they have six six spots painted on their wall with the letters over it. And the letters in order are UCDCUM.
UCD
U
CUM. I mean, I get the CUM, but
Yeah. I guess it's just like UCD come. Like
I mean, yeah, okay,
he
that's
sent
pretty
it to me
funny though.
yesterday originally, and he all he sent me was the CUM, and I'm like, that's not real. And he goes, I swear to God, this is in my sister-in-law's house. And I'm like, no. And then he
That's
sent me
hilarious.
the whole picture of the wall today, and it's UCDCUM. It's like, what
That's
is like? Help me, people.
I thought you were gonna say like they obviously they painted their house and now they can't get that recovered up like
Right.
whatever letters they put down. That's what I was anticipating there. Like, oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah, they did it. Okay, I'm gonna like reprime these. I just like went way too thin, I think.
I am gonna step away and fill up my water real quick. BRB. Oh, let's see here. I could stream the UFC pay-per-view. I bet we get some eyeballs then.
Oh, dang it.
All right. Man, Hulkbuster is there's a lot. There's a lot of surface here with not a lot of variation and excitement, if you will. So here we go. We're just gonna keep working on this upper body. Some of these spots, I'm just gonna punch the red in there and then go back and highlight with the gold later, and not really worry about these being too perfect.
All right, now moving on to the legs. Got a good, decent red base coat down on the turret. Let that dry up a bit. I'm gonna move that so I don't splatter on it at all. That would be annoying. And
Oh man, I didn't paint that gold. That's supposed to be gold. Oh, one of the girls that fought earlier tonight, they call her Meatball Molly, cause she, I guess, cause she used to work at Subway. But like Dave Portnoy was there, um, and then one of the other guys from Barstool was there, or they are there, but they had Meatball Molly shirts on. It was funny. I'm assuming she's from like the Boston area.
yeah, I'm guessing so. Especially with that name.
Yeah. I think I'm really liking the like the way that this white and then silver Zenithal kind of played out on this guy. It's giving me the looks I want, like the shadows where I want them without really having to work for them, and
Kind of did like a slap chop method.
yeah, I started seeing it called that online. I don't know where that name came from. I mean, this is what I've been doing
I know.
since
Like, I mean, I haven't.
well before I got the contrast paint. paints or the speed paints.
I mean, like I've done that a few times where it's like, oh, I'll like pre-dry brush some stuff, but then they're like, oh no no, it's slap drop. It's like you do black and then you dry brush on everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, oh, this is a hot new craze, and I'm like, really? Nobody's ever done that before? Like I've just done it on accident where
Dude,
I was like, hey, I'm gonna try this out.
I have a whole box probably right here. Let's see. Put this in front of the camera. Yeah, here we go. I have a whole box of minis that have been sitting here for I don't know how long. Oh, this one is completely blown open. Ugh. Anyhow, though, whole box of minis here that have this slap chop thing done to them, and these guys have been sitting in this box for a long time. All this 3D printed stuff. Because that's like the easiest way to do it. You just prime it black and you dry brush it gray, and then you really lightly dry brush it white, and then you go on your way.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like surprised at the other like war gamers that it's like, oh, you get, like Warhammer, like you have like they encourage painting,
Uh
they
huh.
encourage your armies to be painted at like tournaments. Like, I can't believe nobody before has just been like, you know what, I'm just gonna dry brush everything because dry brushing is super easy once you just start doing it. I mean,
Right.
it's simple
And it's one of the things
because
that
you can,
even if you screw it up, like it's really easy to go in and fix stuff.
yeah. And really, like, you can't screw up even what it's like not screw upable, even what they're doing in that, like
Right.
pre-shading.
All right. I have to fix this. So this UFC stream is like the timing between my left headphone and my right headphone is off. So it's almost like my right headphone is like on a split second delay from my left headphone. It's gonna give me a migraine. Try this one. That one's Spanish. I don't know Spanish quite that well. I am not a robot. That is correct. I wish I was. I'd probably be a much better painter. Okay, there we go. So much better. But yeah, I finally just asked Dragon the other day. I'm like, hey, are you out on D&D? He's like, yeah, I think so. You know, this and that. I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's fine. I don't care. I just want to know, like, if I'm trying to replace your seat at the table or not. Which I don't understand why anyone wouldn't want to play D&D, but whatever.
I
I'm
mean, I
not.
know,
I'm not gonna
especially like I mean,
force
like, it's
someone to play.
what's that?
I said I'm not gonna like force someone to play, but
Right? Yeah.
oh yeah, do you remember? I think it was twice that like his character had like the nightmare at night. Like
Not
I read it
really.
aloud like what he remembers from his nightmare at night.
Not really, but like you mentioned it when you sent that thing, I was like, okay, like I think he had like night terrors or something crazy, but I was like, okay, that's part of his like backstory.
Sort of, but I was using it for something else also. And then like so it was going to become more obvious as time went on, but
Hmm.
so the first time that I read his nightmare aloud and the second time I read it aloud, certain details were different.
Yeah, I mean,
Um
I don't remember. I don't remember to
and
fact
he
check that, but
he didn't know why details were different, and I mean no, I mean obviously I know why, but
right. So is my character or Wesley's gonna start having? It's Wesley, right?
Uh,
Wes.
Wes,
It's Wes.
yes.
Wesley. I don't know what the fuck I'm thinking, but are one of our characters gonna now start having night terrors?
I think both. I think it's going to be a thing um, that it may not be like everyone in the world, but it may
I gotcha.
become a thing. Oh, so the other day, um, my boss told me that our budget did get approved for a supervisor's position for next year, and that it's between me and one other guy if I'm interested. And honestly, I think he just didn't want to straight up tell me that, like, oh, it's yours if you're interested. But I kind of feel like, obviously, I feel like I'm the better candidate. But
All right. Yeah.
I mean,
Basically, it's yours if you want it. Is what you're
kind of how I felt.
thinking out.
So, um, which good and bad, like, because the schedule I have right now is insane. I work 3 days a week. Oh, more money, maybe slightly more responsibility, and I'll be salary, but I can probably get salary with exemptions. So if I work more than 40 hours, I get overtime. Which
Oh yeah, for sure.
basically all that ever does is just guarantee that they'll never let you go for 40 hours, which is fine with me. I don't want to.
Dude, we have that at our work. Well, I don't have it. Like some of our supervisors have that, but like they consistently go over 40 and it's like, what the fuck? But yeah.
Yeah, I have no interest in ever going over 40. But yeah, I mean, kind of gets like, if I want to work 7 to 3 one day, I can do that. If I want to work 9 to 5 one day, I can do that. Like, sort of do whatever I want, hopefully.
Yeah, my boss is actually really fucking cool when it comes to our schedules cuz like I don't I mean, I couldn't sit here and be like, "Oh, I've done like I'm missing so many parts of this thing right now." Like, I don't have to track my hours or anything cuz I'm salary, but like neither does my boss.
Hmm.
But she's basically just like, if your stuff's done, like, I'm not going to harass you. And I'm like, that is just how I want life to be right
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Tell me what to
It's like,
do. Expect me to do it.
if I
If
do it better and faster than you anticipate, then that's my reward for just being a baller.
Yep. Tell me what to do. Expect me to do it, and know that if I have questions, I'll ask. But if I don't, politely leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
No, my boss is super cool. I know, especially like in the security law enforcement kind of realm, like you run into a lot of bosses that think they're the smartest guy in the room 100% of the time.
Hmm.
And I told Dragon, I said, I can't have that because clearly I'm the smartest guy in the room 100% of the time. But but seriously though, like they never they have very difficult time taking an opinion that's not their own. Well, the other day I asked my boss about this one thing that like some people do, some people don't, and I was like, "Do you want people doing this particular thing?" I said. He's like, "Oh, I don't really know. It's a thing that we've kind of done in the past, basically." And I said, "Well, I don't do it. This is why I don't do it, and I think it's a waste of time because X, Y, and Z, and it's actually a liability because A, B, and C." And he goes, "You know what? Those are all really good points. I've never thought of any of that before." He goes, "I'm going to send out an email right now and tell people that we're not doing that anymore." I'm like, "Oh, awesome." Like normally you don't get that kind of immediate feedback in
Uh huh.
in
Yeah.
my line of work.
My So I have a manager, and she's great. Like she does an awesome job. But then I mean, she's our technically her title is vice president, but she's our director. She's the head of HR.
Uh-huh.
And I go to her a lot, not because I don't go to my manager, but just like the nature of some of the stuff we do. It's speaking with her. She's very like a not a micromanager, but very just like do your job. Like like what she's even told me before. She's like, you do whatever you need to do to get your job done, and if you have a hurdle or a problem, just let me know.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take care of it. And it's just like that perfect. Like that's all that you're supposed to do as a manager. Just like
Yes.
remove obstacles. Like that your job is just to remove the obstacle for me to do what I need to do.
Yep. But yeah, I know Dragon's boss is kind of a pain in the ass. And I basically was like, yeah, mine isn't. I said this is definitely best boss I've ever had. I mean, I had some good supervisors at the nuke plant, but you spent so like I never saw my supervisors there, which was great. I mean, that's my preferred thing. But now I don't see my boss very often because he's absolutely smothered and stuff with opening all the new stuff in West Virginia and all the new stuff coming to Ohio and you know everything like he's just busy all the time, which is great for me. But oh damn it, did I paint that? I didn't mean to paint that. Yeah, he basically told me the other day. He's like, well, originally we were gonna go outside for a supervisor. He says, but I don't think that's the right move anymore. He goes, said the supervisor position, it's between you and Andrew if you're interested. And I was like, well, I'm certainly interested. Because that was, you know, that was part of my plan the whole time coming here in the first place and taking the pay cut that I took.
Mm-hmm.
Because I told Ronnie, I said, I think, like I think that I could be a supervisor here pretty quickly. And we're almost a year in. Man, this looks gorgeous. What I've painted so far, I love the way it looks. Man, this damn stream ain't working. There. What did you do?
Just dropped it
Oh my
on my
god.
lap. I don't even know if this is the leg I was working on. It's not. I feel like this thing has 4 legs. I swear to God, it's got 15. I just keep spinning this around, and there's like another unpainted side of a leg, and I'm like, what the hell?
What
But
is
this is
that
going.
thing?
So it's the base. So this is the base,
Uh huh.
doing it in like a bone, but the turret just sits on it, and it's a walker. So boom. Let me get it in the camera.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's one of my versions of a tank that my faction has. Which one? Okay.
Yeah, I haven't even touched that 3D print for that defiler
Uh huh.
since because I was trying to like hurry up and get it done before you came up that one time, and then I didn't get it done in time, so I was like, ah, screw it. Like,
Right.
I figured I'll get it primed up here shortly, and then that way when next time I break out the airbrush, I'm gonna have like a pile of Death Guard to just get everything airbrushed all together. This was gonna be silver, decided to make it gold. for some other stuff I wanted to do. Oh, this here. I want to do gold on the outside of this. And I still see people online occasionally complain about these speed paints, like, oh, they reactivate and this and that, and like, I just don't have the complaints that other people do with them. I don't.
That's the one thing I've seen, but I'm wondering too if the people that are using them are like trying to do stuff like blend over top of the same colors, and it's like that's not what these are for.
Yeah,
I don't think. I mean, I don't know what you've done that like in that realm, but
I don't really know. I mean, I've had them reactivate a few times, but if you scrub the paint on, it'll reactivate. But if you just like lightly apply another coat, I don't get that big reactivation. Like, I don't know.
I don't.
Hmm. All right, let's go back to the red. All right, what parts are being left silver? Well, apparently that one's not, because it's already gold. There's not a whole lot of silver on this guy, and I actually might take an artistic freedom here and just have there be no silver on this guy. Maybe a couple little highlights here and there, but I don't. The few spots where I've left silver peeking through, I don't like them as of right now. Maybe once it's finished, I won't hate it, but
Red on silver looks really weird when they're next to each other.
mm-hmm.
Because I've had a few things where I've done it and it's red next to silver, and I'm just looking at it and like that isn't right. I don't know.
Like
I don't know why it doesn't work, but it's just not right.
I feel like it has like an unfinished look.
Yeah. It's even like my Tywin model. He's got a lot of red and silver. I mean, he all is like completely red and silver. But the more like every time I look at him, like I like how I painted him, but there's just like something weird. It's like I almost need to hit him with like just dip him in Nuln Oil
Mm-hmm.
and make that silver not like silver.
Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna leave any silver, and then if I go back and want to hit it with like a traditional brush and add some silver bits, that's an option later. But for right now, the only spots I'm gonna leave silver are the spots that are going to get like that airbrushed or maybe even just hit with the light blue so that they have that jet glow
Hmm.
exhausts, whatever you want to consider the arc reactors on Stark suits. I feel like I'm about to watch this dude get his knee snapped. The guy's just sitting there, like, smiling as this other dude is belly down on his knee trying to snap it. And I don't understand. Oh my gosh. Well, that's why they're professionals, I guess. He's literally just sitting there like, yeah, he's not gonna snap my knee. He can't. What the hell? That's crazy. Almost just dropped my painted model onto my palette. I would have
Dude, I've
cried.
done that
I,
before.
I would have
I
cried.
I've done that before, but I have like cat like speed and reflexes, and I picked it up and been like, "There's nothing on him," and I'm just like, "Thank Jesus."
It was more just like I didn't drop him as much as I turned him a certain way and his hand sticking like way out there
Hmm.
and it just rested on the palette, but it was in a spot with no paint. I'm starting to run out of places to like hold this model comfortably too. Cause I don't, even though some of these spots look dry, I don't trust them enough to like put my fingers on them yet. We might be leaving Hulkbuster with one leg unpainted for tonight.
Can you throw him on his base?
What's that?
Is it, or can you put him on his
Oh,
base, or is he
hmm.
just like too big to be based and paint?
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna do his base separately. I hadn't really thought about.
I mean, even just to hold on to, even if you like not permanently attach him, but semi attach him.
Yeah, I don't know. This wasn't a problem I anticipated. I don't know. I probably can hold him by the top part of the model, but all right. More? No, no, not blood red. Oh my goodness! Almost used the wrong color paint. Almost
That'd, that'd have been real bad.
put the wrong color red in there. Hmm. We're gonna paint that red. I wasn't gonna. I was gonna let that be gold, but we're gonna paint this red. I almost wish there would have been a way to just airbrush this dude red and then go back with the gold later, but I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to get the coverage on the yellow, basically, trying to paint it over red.
Yeah, I mean, that would have that'd have been impossible. You could have done him, and I've done this before, which I guess obviously it's not even helping what you're doing now. I've done put a bunch of gold down and then done contrast red over it, and it makes it this awesome like red metallic, like bright red metallic. It's really
Mm-hmm.
cool actually, but that's not helping your problem here of having to put a bunch of red down.
This dude just said in his post-fight interview, he said, "I'm 6 foot with a vicious hook, and when I bite down on this mouthpiece, man, I make nails look soft." It's like, what are you talking about? Did you
He's fighters,
acquire
man.
brain damage during that fight? Did you have brain damage before the fight? I mean, he English is not his first language, but
Still.
still, yeah, someone he should have ran that past someone earlier today. Like, hey, will this make me sound stupid if I say this after a fight? They would have went, please don't say that.
Well, those. I'm not gonna sit here and say the fighters aren't the brightest people, but they fight people for a living.
But they fight people. Am I seeing a real commercial for Black Panther right now, or is this like a fake commercial? I'm not sure.
What is that? That Wakanda Forever one?
Yeah. Did you see the new Thor?
Nah, yeah. I mean, I plan to watch it here eventually because I actually liked the Thor movies. He's
It's it's odd. So it has this really weird ebb and flow of going from like, okay, so Christian Bale plays is it Gord the God Hunter or whatever?
I don't know. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm not
whatever.
sure.
It's super dark and creepy, and you're like, this is so fucking cool. Like
Hmm.
sometimes like when they're showing his scenes, a lot of times it's like damn near black and white.
Hmm.
Um, it's awesome. And then they pull like a 180 in it's like cartoony almost in like a fun kind of fluffy sort of way.
Hmm.
And the I get that like from a cinematography standpoint, like you're trying to do something different and like go from like this dark and really serious to like light and playful, and they kind of go back and forth. I just didn't like it. I didn't think it worked great. Um, there were a couple of times where it's just really weird. I don't know.
Who directed this one?
Tiki Waititi or whatever his name is. He did Ragnarok also,
Okay,
but
I mean,
so it was just kind of like they told him like, "Hey, do whatever you want," and he just went fucking crazy with it. Like tried to make it like too goofy and funny sometimes, and then would have that scene butted up against another scene where like you're letting Christian Bale be this Gord the God Hunter guy, and it's fucking awesome. I wish the whole movie would have been like the dark. It was like borderline horror filmy when
hmm,
his scenes were on,
hmm.
and they were sweet. And then
But
yeah,
then you jump to, I'm guessing, like Thor scenes where it's more that like, I mean, I don't know. I've just seen the previews and it looks very like, I'm not gonna say whimsical, but like,
it's a perfect word for it actually.
yeah,
Yes.
more like it's jumping between that and then what it to me looks like Ragnarok when he's on uh Planet Hulk.
Yes. So it was weird. It reminded me of when I first started the sheriff's department. My first interview with that sheriff at the time, he did that in his interviews. I don't know if it was like a tactic. It must have been because I know he did it on purpose because there were other people that said he did the same thing. But he would go like super hardcore, like you know, serious questioning, and then like something really light and playful and goofy, and then like would go back to like this other thing, and I'm like, dude, like this is like, am I in a fucking cartoon right now? Like, what is going on? And I get that it's probably an interview tactic that he thought was cool, just to like
I
see if he could keep you on your toes, kind of thing. But it was stupid.
don't know if I've ever heard of that as an interview tactic,
I don't
and that's
know.
what I do for a living. But
That's
like
true.
either,
That's true.
like I do 30 interviews with people a week. I've never once been like, I'm gonna just fucking be random as fuck.
That's what it was too. It would be like, man, I wish I could remember any of it, but obviously like heroin's a big problem up here, so it would be questions about like heroin and you know stuff, and then it would just be like some whimsical, like, I don't know, super weird. And that is what the Thor movie reminded me of.
The worst interview in your life.
Basically, yes. I
All
do remember.
right.
I do remember one of my interviews at the nuke plant. I remember explicitly thinking to myself, like early on, like, "Ooh, this is not going well. Like, you need to figure this out real quick. You got to find something to spin this."
Dude, the worst interview I ever did. So you had to, for this one job I was applying for before I got here, you had to do like a video interview and just like record yourself like answering a question, and you had like 4 minutes to answer each question. And like some of them, I'm like, I can't answer that shit. I don't have 4 minutes of
S-
stuff to say. Like that's not me to talk for 4 minutes.
So, like, they gave you the questions
Yeah.
beforehand and let you prepare and told you that they wanted a
No, no,
four
no.
minute response.
I don't know if I even knew all the questions, but like we had to go through a prompt online, and you recorded yourself answering the question, and it was like a pre-screen, like not like hard questions, but like pre-screening type of questions, and
Right.
it was just like super weird because it'd be like, tell what is your goals or what's your goal,
Sure.
and,
I hate
and
those
like,
questions, but yes.
but like, I can answer that in like even
Yeah.
you know you can answer that in like a minute, and it's just like, what am I supposed to do for like, and it was awful, and it was bad. Needless to say, I know I did not get a second interview with them because of how bad it was. Because even as I'm going through it, I'm just like, this is just terrible. Like I know I'm doing terrible, and like, yeah.
Yeah, no. Like, I want to put gold on this somewhere else.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Damn, I don't think I can get yellow to work on that afterwards. I wish. Oh well. Be one spot of imbalance on this thing. I wish I'd have put more yellow on the shoes, actually. Alright, we are at an hour and a half on Hulkbuster here. And, he's coming along for sure. He still has a whole leg to do. It is a lot of time here.
And so I have my turret base coated pretty well. Really, this whole thing that I'm working on, it honestly, I don't think it'll take me that much time to do. So I'm picking out all the red right now, which is like the armor plating. I did all the leg struts, or the legs in a bone, which I'm gonna wash them in uh, light tone because it works really good over the that bone color just to make it look a little grimier.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll highlight that all, and then I'm gonna pick out basically all like the joints and some of these struts with metallic, and then frame all the armor plating in metallic. And even the turret, there's just like it's gonna get like a dry brush and metallic. I think.
Oh, just like an overall silver dry brush.
No, I'm gonna do like a lighter red, like to pick out all like an edge dry brush almost, just so it looks like it's worn out. Well, not even worn out, just so that it doesn't look as like these corners, so they don't look as flat like I did with the tank. So just hit it all with like a light dry brush, and then pick out every like railing and some of the other stuff, and then do some edge highlighting with an even lighter red on some of the parts.
Gotcha. I can definitely tell that I'm like out of shape for painting because like my hands are like borderline. They're tired. They're not quite like cramping yet, but I can tell that they're tired of holding the brush in the model and stuff already.
Yeah.
Probably take a break for a minute because I'm at a point where I need more paint. So I need to refill my water cups also. Oh my goodness, my back hurts too. Oh, because haven't dropped down my chair. I always drop down my chair when I paint so that my table like sits like mid chest level.
Yeah.
Lets me sit straight up, but kind of forgot. Did I ever show you how big this defiler is? Just with the legs and stuff on it?
Uh, damn.
Huge.
That thing's massive.
Huge. It is. I mean, it is. Tilt this camera up. There you go.
That's crazy.
If you're looking on Discord.
Yeah, I'm checking it out right now.
Yeah. Huge.
How did the joints go for you? What'd you end up doing with them?
So I super glued them
Mm-hmm.
to get them just like hold in place for a second, and then I took this stuff, uh, that really
Mm-hmm.
good Gorilla Glue that we were doing the cases in, and just like drowned, like if you see on stream here, just like
Uh-huh.
drown those joints in that. Like it's like half-ass epoxy is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I get done painting it, I'm probably gonna take some actual epoxy and just mix it and like make it green and gooey and just pour that over the joints.
That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, and then I'll pour it over like some like the knee joints and stuff too, just so that it's not just on those spots. Maybe have some like ooze coming out of like one of the cannons or something. That way I can blend it in, because you can like see this spot here has like a
Mm-hmm.
little like almost stalactite going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, thing is massive. Yeah, man, my hands hurt right now. That's bad. Means I need to paint some damn minis is what it means. Here, we'll make your stream like full size for now.
Sitting back for a second too.
All right. Well, in that case,
Well, that's the thing. Like my
oh,
forearms, they're like so worn out from like how I sit.
uh-huh.
But
Boom. Face cam. What's up, YouTube? Probably terrible glare. Hey, there we
yeah,
go. That's my shitty cam. Sorry. I bought it for $5 with quarters at a Dairy Queen parking lot. I needed an extra webcam.
that guy's got to be so
God,
pissed.
I think back on it. I'm like, you douche. Like, I was like, is quarters okay? She's like, yeah, I don't care, this and that. And I was like, you lie. You're just being nice. I'd care if someone showed up with 25 oh, shit. He just knocked him right out. Dude, like, ducked his head down to come in. Meanwhile, other dude brought his knee up. It just lights out.
I'm not gonna say that's the most common knockout in UFC, but I feel like you see that one a lot. Like guys go to shoot and then they just get kicked in the head, and it's like good night.
Yeah, it happens for sure. I mean, it happens. Outside of just like striking knockouts, it probably is. Just like basic punches and stuff like it's probably more common than like a good head kick is.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the end of Frankie Edgar's career. He's retiring because he's like 45 years old. And
Wait, did he win that?
no, he's lost.
Oh, he's the guy that got knocked out.
Yeah. He knew coming into this fight he was retiring after this. I don't think he wanted to go out with a fucking knee to the jaw, but
It is what it is.
yep. First round. So, it was a quick night for him. Nice little paycheck going into retirement. It's true. I mean, how many fighters win their last fight? It's basically zero. It's basically zero. Especially these dudes that have been around for. I mean, this guy's been fighting for 20 years. Like,
Right. Fighting some 20-some-year-old or even 30-year-old dude. I mean, that's a significant time difference.
significant. I think this guy's 28. Granted, though, the light heavyweight champion of the world right now is 42. It's the first time he's ever won a title.
Hmm.
Fuck yeah! Just ate that knee right to the jaw. He's out before he hit the ground. You know it's bad when you get hit on the right side of the head and you see the left earlobe go all the way up to the right to like the top of the ear. Like, all right. What we got? There we go. Oh. Did I paint that gold? No, it's supposed to be silver. Let's check the image. Is it even supposed to be silver? I don't think it is. I think those are going to get painted. Damn, that's supposed to all be silver. So is that F. As is some of that. Oh well. I can go back in and put a traditional silver over top at a later date. This is the only thing that I have noticed with the speed paints. Like, if I have dry paint in the palette, or like semi-dry paint but not really dry, I need to clean it out before I add more, or it will get like gummy and
Messed
fucky.
up.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, okay, hold on. We're putting Fire Giant Orange and Blood Red away because now I almost put in the wrong color again, but the different wrong color. All right. Should be our last run of red here. Chris Gutierrez. Francisco, that's a funny name.
Husband just sent me this video.
He's like, yeah, I love the sport. I don't go out like that. The sport's kind of a bitch.
Honestly, as crazy as it sounds, I feel like that'd be the. I'm not gonna say the best way to go out, but like the second best way to go out. Like, you either want to knock someone out or get knocked out on the way to trying.
Yep, like that's it.
I don't think I'd want to like if I was in that, I wouldn't want to lose my last one off of like
Going to
a decision.
decision and yeah,
Yeah, no. Like
going
this thing's gonna be
15 minutes and a decision, and because then you just spend time wondering like, oh, did I leave any out there? Did I not?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, nah, I ate a fucking knee from hell, and
Yep.
that's the way the cookie crumbles, baby. Man, I am so far off camera. I apologize to anyone who attempts to watch this at some point in time. Let me actually move my camera there. I think it will work better too if I go in after the fact and then figure out what I want to be silver.
And then picking that out, yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit, Mike Tyson's at the fights tonight. That guy is another one. He's a fucking national treasure right there.
Dude, Mike Tyson could probably win some fights today.
I'm
And I'm
not
not even.
I'm not just talking like as a fighter. Like if you listen to him just talk about stuff,
Oh yeah, for sure.
like he's a beautiful person. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, as much of a psychopath as you think he would be, he's
Well, cuz he used to
probably is,
be
but he's
that
also not.
psychopath, you know?
Yeah.
And then now everything's just love, man. He went and licked a toad and tripped out of his fucking mind and was like, "I love everybody now. Like I don't need to hate people."
But I think he could jump in and fight right now and win some fights.
I know. I was hoping he would do some more because I mean his Roy Jones Jr. fight that was fun to watch. I mean, I wish they would have done 3-minute rounds instead of twos, but whatever. But it was still fun to watch. I tell you what, I'm tired of watching is this Jake Paul and Logan Paul bullshit. Like I feel like all their fights are fixed. Like
They,
even
I mean, they are though, aren't they? I mean, like, I'm not even like, I'm pretty sure they are.
I don't know. Like if they're like entertainment purposes only, basically, sort of thing.
Yeah,
And like, are we just getting like some weird version of wrestling?
I think that is really it. And even too, if they're not like stage per se, because they want to win, they're not fighting the most competitive fights.
Well, like he was one of them, and I can't remember which one's which. I think it was Jake Paul. He was supposed to be fighting Tyson Fury's little brother, who is a legitimate like. And then like all of a
Mhm.
sudden, Tyson Fury was having all these problems with his visa and stuff to get to the United States, and then you're like, was this whole thing staged? Like, by both parties, honestly. Like, was he staging
Mhm.
the visa issues? And I don't really know, but like, and you read about, like they have no knockout clause in their contracts. Like, you're not allowed to knock them out, or you don't get paid, basically. That's why when one of them fought, I can't think of his name. He just got out of the UFC not that long ago. Like, dude had Paul against the ropes, like wobbly legged, and just didn't push him. And you're like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
in the real world, like you'd push him and rain down hell on him and knock him out,
Yeah. But the
and like
fact, yeah, I
just
mean,
kind of like let
that's
him
the thing.
go.
That's the thing, though. Like, oh, you can't knock them out, but they sure as hell can knock you out. It's like, what are we doing here? Like,
Right,
it's not
right.
a fight. It's
Or like the one that boxed Floyd Mayweather.
mhm.
Like Floyd Mayweather half-ass knocked him out, and then like went into a clinch and literally held him up until he got his legs back under him, and then they finished the fight. But at the same time, it's like, listen, like it's there's no shame in being knocked out by Floyd Mayweather. Like
No, absolutely
he's the
not.
greatest boxer of all time. Like what are we doing here?
That's
Like
the thing.
are
Like,
you
if honestly,
boxing him or
too,
not?
the thing is too, there's gonna be somebody that they want to fight that person goes, you know what? I'm just sick and tired of them being like, oh, they won or whatever, blah blah blah. But
Right,
like, I'm
right.
gonna knock him out. I'm gonna put
Like
his
like
dick in the dirt,
like I
and
don't care
nobody
if I
will
don't get
like.
paid.
Yep.
Right. I want to see someone tune him up. Like
Like,
when
somebody will do it, but somebody will do it just because it could help their actual real career more than doing a fake fight with him and getting paid with. But that's also why he doesn't fight real fighters.
like he fought who's the basketball player? The really
Nate
tiny,
Robinson.
yeah, when he fought Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
Like Nate Robinson was trying to knock him out, but he was just a legitimately better boxer than Nate Robinson, which
He's also like what, like 4 inches taller and got more of a wing. Like it just like it's
I
one
th-
of those things. It's
I
like
think
they're not the
I
same weight
think he even
class.
had more than 4 inches on him, but yeah. I mean, Nate had speed that was like impressive to watch, but it's like he just has fast twitch muscle fiber like in his
Yeah, yeah.
whole body. Like it doesn't matter.
I don't know. Eventually, there's gonna be somebody that tunes one up.
Yeah, I hope so. Holy crap, man. I feel like I just started punching paint into places. Like it got to that point where it's like, listen, I'm ready to like put this model down. But I know that there's little spots that I gotta get. Or I'm just gonna be mad at myself later. Oh, excuse me, everyone. Like I think I need to let this thing set for a couple days and like completely cure and then go back over all the gold with the yellow prior to attempting the dry brush. Or not dry brush, but the highlight.
It's looking good, dude. So I have the weirdest question ever, and I just feel really old and dumb now for asking it. So they released a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 recently,
Uh-huh.
correct?
Yes.
Why is it called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2?
I don't honestly
Like,
know.
like what?
Like it's not a remake of Modern Warfare 2.
They just made a new Modern Warfare 2.
They made a new Modern Warfare, I think, years ago. And then this
I
is
thought they
the sequel
remade.
to
I thought they.
that.
Oh, I thought they remade Modern Warfare.
I think they made a new one and called it Modern Warfare.
Hmm.
And then this is the sequel to that Modern Warfare.
That makes no sense.
Like why like I don't know, because you can't call it Modern Warfare 3 if it's not going to have anything to do with Modern Warfare 2 or 1, and that's fine.
There's already a Modern Warfare 3 though.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, there was
I
totally a
quit
Modern
paying
Warfare 3.
attention to Call of Duty so long ago.
Modern Warfare 3 was the last one I played. Because that one I think came out after Black Ops. But yeah, at that point I was like, I'm out. It was just too much.
Alright, that is Hulk for now. We are not including a 5-minute break. We started at what, 9 minutes in the stream? We are at 2 hours and 7 minutes now. So an hour and 55 minutes. So
Looking solid.
yeah. Wow. I did not anticipate him taking that long to only get to this point, because honestly there's probably at least an hour of work left on him. But ouchies, man. Ouchies.
Yeah, and this is where I'm at. So I got most of the red and the initial base layer of the bone color done on the legs. Really letting all this dry, 'cause then I can light tone the bone.
Now,
And then
those are not
once
contrast paints, correct?
these are not. This is
Okay.
just regular classic method. So I'll light tone that, then highlight, and then after I light tone, actually before I light tone even, I'm gonna go through and start knocking out. I think maybe, I'm not sure. Probably do the metallics first and then light tone, because then if I make a mess, I can clean it up on the bone, and then highlight, and then block in that. And I mean, this has actually gone a lot quicker than I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy even too. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's not done, obviously, but really it's just like these railings need picked out all around, and the steps, and then just some shading, I guess, on like the red, or not even shading on the red, just like dry brushing it up, and then getting some different red tones on there on the corners, but not really a lot to do with that, which is kind of cool.
Right.
And
I've had like a half-painted Green Goblin sitting here for a while.
yeah. Ow.
I should finish him sometime. I don't think I'm gonna do a whole lot with this smoke. Like, I'm just gonna hit this, I think, with like a gray.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just like the Zenithal airbrush. But I'm probably just gonna hit it with like a gray and then probably just call it good. Cause it looks
I know.
smoky, you know. Like, I didn't want to do like a big fire-looking effect on it.
Mm-hmm. I know what I did with. I did a smoke before. I did a purple down. I put a purple down,
Mm-hmm.
and then I dry brushed gray over it, and like gray to white.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not even white, but to light gray, and it looked pretty good because you get that purple in the recesses, and it's like a dark, smoky.
Interesting.
Looked real good.
The purple would complement the rest of Green Goblin probably pretty well. I think I'm just gonna do gray. Where's my gray?
Like I did purple contrast even. That's what I did.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, was doing a purple speed paint. Alright, I have this Cloudburst Blue. You can see it kind of on the stream here. I might do that. No, I just want to be done with this. I'm just gonna throw gray on it because I don't want to do dry brush and everything else. All you gotta do is find. There we go, gray. Wow, tonight's UFC event has set a UFC record for 7 first-round knockouts in a single night.
Oof. That's a lot of knockouts.
It's a lot of
I mean,
knockouts.
I want to see 95-yard field goals.
Right, I want to see someone's dick literally knocked in the dirt.
Into the dirt.
Well, I mean, usually you don't get the main event till like 1 a.m. half the time. But this is the third to last fight. It's already, I mean, we're 20 seconds in, and it's only quarter after 11, so should have the main event by like 12:30, depending on what happens here.
Right, yeah. Alright, I need to go get some water, and I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll be here. Oh, man. If anyone is watching this stream, for whatever reason you're watching it, good for you. Thank you for being here. We do appreciate it. We don't do this as often as we'd like to. It'd be great if this was a thing that we did more often. So, if anyone watches, let us know in the comments. Maybe it'll entice us to do it a little more. If you have opinions on the camera setups and stuff, I mean, those are certainly welcome. Just because, you know, I just kind of throw this shit together. Michael Chandler is going after Dustin Poirier right now. Let's go. He's got to take him down. Alright, let's see here. We're going to mix up this gray, wherever I put it. Grave Lord Gray. I don't know why that camera's backwards. Here you go. Grave Lord Gray. Somewhere on there. Make sure that's showing up. Here you go. Grave Lord Gray. Army Painter Speed Paints. And we're just going to hit this whole smoky thing with it. And pretty much call that good. Where's my miniature holder thingy? Come on, Poirier. Ooh. Big old suplex by Michael Chandler. wonder if I should have done this in white even. I like that. I think it looks good. It is simple, yet totally, I think, will look the way I want it to look, where I want it to look at. Really bad with the mold lines on this one. There we go. And we're just going to leave that right there on the mini spin. I don't want to touch it.
What am I going to get going now?
We'll see how this comes out, but if you look on the stream here, on the good camera, I like the way it looks. It looks, I think once it dries, it'll flatten out a little bit and it should have a very smoky look that I want it to. We're going to take that same gray and we're actually going to hit the whole glider with it because you can't put paint back in the bottle. And
I like that gray.
I want this thing to have a more finished look. I was almost wondering if I should have done that with the white speed paint instead, just because like it wouldn't look white obviously, but it would be you know, it hits the recesses with
Yeah.
like that gray kind of look. Holy shit, this dude is bleeding everywhere right now.
Everywhere?
And he was about to get put in a triangle, so he's like leaning over top of his opponent, bleeding all the fuck over him. I'll tell you what, that's a trick that I've accidentally noticed and then like low-key like tried to use it a couple of times, is when you're like like you got sweat running off of you like crazy, right? If you end up in a position over top of your opponent, I try to get the sweat to drip off my nose right into their ear, because once you get your ear clogged, it fucks up your equilibrium. So I had it happen to me once on accident, and I was all over the place because like my balance just went to shit immediately. And then ever since then, I've tried to do it to people on purpose to see like if I could get my sweat in their ear.
What are you trying to do, man? I'm trying to sweat in his ear. That's my
Yeah.
game plan.
I'm gonna sweat in this dude's ear. He's gonna be out there drunk. It's gonna be great.
He's gonna look like a fool.
I need a little bit more gray here. Little bit more gray. think the glider has a nice look. Eventually I will give it like white eyes so that I can give it yellow eyes. The Goblin himself will need some white put on the eyes eventually. But in the meantime, I need a brown. A really light brown, probably, because I want it to get good contrast with the dark purple. Oh, his little satchel thing. Oh, it's black on the thing. Maybe I'm not going to do that. Little green to touch up the Goblin's skin. Yeah, we're going to touch up Mr. Goblin's skin here. Because I feel like I painted him and then had him sitting on the damn desk so long that, like, he's been knocked around a few times and basically needed touched up.
Yeah, that will happen. I noticed a base of mine the other day where I'm looking at it and I'm like, how are you so messed up? And it's like, well, I guess I use you a bit.
So I touched up the skin. And then in the coming days, I'll actually finish this damn model. And then I'll seal it. I think the reason he sat around for so long is I couldn't, like, I tried like 3 different times for the glider exhaust. And, like, I kept having that, like, okay, it looks good, it looks good. All right, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and I fucked it up. Like, I did that, I think, literally, like, 2 or 3 times I've reprimed this thing. And it's like, okay, like, that's why this time I was like, less is more. I might hit it with, like, a super light gray dry brush. And then call this thing done once I do the eyes and stuff. Do you seal your minis?
I've never sealed a mini.
Never.
I probably should, but I haven't.
I used to. I used to always had like a rattle can. And then I have a matte coat for the airbrush. It's just, yeah, like I don't think I sealed any Ice and Fire miniatures.
Yeah, the only thing that's made me be like, I should probably seal these are just from, like 40K, because it's like some of these, like, yeah, I've spent significant time making these models not look like shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you handle the models because you're not like in Song, you kind of are handling like trays more or less.
True. True.
Some models, but in 40K, you handle the models basically the whole time. So
That is a really good
that's made
point.
me a little. That's made me a little bit more like, should I? But we'll see. I don't know. Well, I'll get them once I get some playing more with them, and then know for sure if I need to do like what I should do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here's one I've noticed recently, while looking at Christmas presents and such. Um, have you noticed the advancement in Nerf gun technology?
Ah,
Apparently, since like 20 years ago. Holy
yeah.
hell! Holy, there is some cool stuff out there. There's literally Nerf guns that it's like, oh, it has 5 different rails, and you can get like attachment packs. You can get the flashlight, the optics, and like you can set up your. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? So I put like 10 of them in the Amazon cart, and I told Ronnie, I'm like, go figure out which ones you want to get. And she's looking at them. She's looking at them. She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, I know which ones I want. They actually have like magazines that you gotta swap, and just crazy, crazy,
Yeah,
crazy.
I've seen that. I've also seen one where they use like a bunch like little rubber balls, almost like paintball size balls, and you can just like go fucking ham with them.
Yeah. The biggest concern is the fact that there's also a 2-year-old in the house. So it's like, we gotta kind of be careful here yet. Oh,
Right.
all right. What do I want to touch next? I have Rocket. I have Rocket and Groot. Groot is like done. Just need to work on his base, which don't think that's the base. Where is his base at? Oh, here's the gray I wanted to use. I couldn't find it. I just found it. Runic gray. It's like a blue-gray combo.
Ah,
It's okay. I really like the look I got out of those smoky bits, but I might do a Stormcrow Captain real quick. I have one just sitting here.
that is a great model that I have not yet painted either.
What do I want to do for the cloth? If I do brown leather, let's see here. We want to do. What do I do for the cloak? What do I do for the cloak? Do I go darker brown for the leather or lighter? I guess it depends if I'm going to do the cloak light or dark, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm. Or Or maybe I do Rocket and Groot real quick. Or Rocket. I gotta find the box for that for a little inspiration. And fill my water. I'll be right back.
Alright, as I'm going right now, I am doing the metallic joints on the dude and crawler legs, and I will have to go back through and clean them up with the bone color, which shouldn't be too bad. And then I'll hit the wash. And I'll use the same wash on everything, including the metallic bits. I think I might hit one of them with it and then not the rest, and then go back and hit the rest.
This looks like his suit is largely orange.
Who shoots orange?
Rocket. So if I do an orange suit, black knee pads, and maybe like a blue for some of these like little patches and stuff, might look cool. We're gonna do Rocket. We're gonna need a tiny brush. That should do it. Alright, let's see here. Clean out the orange. And then I said blue. We'll clean out a blue spot. Then we'll need a black. Alright, we're going to start with... Doing the face is going to be really interesting. No way I'm going to be able to do it with speed paints. The whole raccoon face.
Right.
I'll probably do it brown. Hit it with like a white dry brush. And then the black parts of the face will be the black speed paint, I think. The fur is going to be done in a light brown because the wood is going to be done in the dark brown. Oh, have you seen the trailers for this Tulsa King show with Stallone?
No.
I think he plays like an old mob dude sort of thing. But it's a series. It looks good. Like kind of like you watched oh shit, Netflix. Ozark. You watched Ozark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like an Ozark sort of feel to it. Like like an old school mobster Sylvester Stallone. All right.
That sounds pretty cool, actually.
Orange, black, and then what did I say? Like a blue, I think. Broncos country, let's ride. Yeah, we're gonna throw probably a really bright blue in with the orange. All right. Time we got 11:42. All right. Let's see how quickly we can do Rocket. Because Hulkbuster was not real life fast.
Not as expedient as you hoped.
Yes. All right. Damn, he's gonna be hard to paint on stream just because the way I want to hold him.
I have not been great with my camera in this one.
So when I use my little wooden spinner thing, I like to hold it off the side of the table and then like rest it against the edge of the table because it gives me a really sturdy like way to just hold it and maneuver the model easily. But we're not doing that right now.
We need to make some of those YouTube shorts of painting models with music background.
Yeah.
Like that video I sent you.
Yes. Oh, yes.
That was hilarious. The thing that just made it so visceral when I watched that one that was just like terrible, like they did it terribly, is the video before. Like there's like two in a row on my stream, or not, maybe not even in a row, but they're like really close back to back. But it was them actually doing it and like doing a good job, and like the model was awesome. But then like they did that one, and it was just like it was just so appalling almost. Like as I'm watching it, I'm like, this is just disturbing.
So just talking about it, my stomach hurts.
Mm.
I'm not exaggerating at all. Like it caused me physical pain to see them do that. Okay. Here's that. The gun is done. I don't know that this yellow is going to show up very well. I feel like it's not going to, and I shouldn't even try it. I should just like grab a traditional yellow for this. But here we go. They're talking about this woman's first fight in Joe Rogan goes, listen, she got caught that first fight. She found out she's a human being. You get kicked in the face, you go unconscious.
It's hilarious.
It's like, well, yeah, that's basically how it works.
Get kicked in the face, you go unconscious.
Alright, well, we'll see how well that yellow sort of works out. Is this the lightest brown that I have? And I'm certain I don't want to go with like a bone color for this skin tone and then wash it, right?
Dude, so you know who I wish the Browns had as a head coach?
Marty
Mike.
Schottenheimer.
No, no. Mike Vrabel.
Oh yeah, dude's legit.
I was watching this clip of him, and he is literally just like, you know what the difference between us and them is? We have Derrick Henry. And I'm like, thank Jesus somebody says that about one of their players. It's just like, he is the reason we will win games, and he is getting the ball. I'm like, the fucking Browns, who are like, oh yeah, we have Chubb.
We have Nick Chubb, but
Yeah,
hey guys, we also have Jacoby Brissett. Okay, let's relax a little. How many passing yards does Nick Chubb have this year? Huh? Yeah.
Like it was about like a 3 minute long clip, and it had like 20 different clips of he is just like, yeah, we're giving Henry the ball, like we are fine, guys. Like holy.
Yeah.
You know what the worst thing though to Cleveland Browns football is?
Oof. The media.
Harry Pluto.
Who is that?
He is like a writer, and I don't know why, but his articles show up on my thing. But he is like the worst of the worst.
I don't read any of them.
I mean, it like shows up on like my Facebook feeds.
Gotcha.
So like the headlines draw you in because they're like, like after every game, it's like the most outlandish headline, like the Browns won by 4, but we're gonna fire the offensive coordinator because we didn't score 85 points, and it's like
right.
It's like that stereotypical like it doesn't matter what happens, it wasn't good enough for him.
Well, I mean, the Cleveland media has made its living for so long with, the backup quarterbacks, basically. Like,
Yeah.
that's what the Cleveland media wants. And they don't know how to be actual sports writers.
No.
Granted, I don't know if anyone knows how to be an actual writer anymore. Everyone just criticizes everything
True.
with no, all they do is identify the problems, but they don't offer any solutions. Essentially.
I saw this. So you know how you saw Michigan State getting their Michigan State. I shouldn't even say Michigan State, but Michigan State basically beating the fuck out of that dude in the tunnel.
Yes.
And I don't know why I do this, but there's always so many comments like it's 2022 and the stadium doesn't have 2 hallways to get to locker rooms, and I want to be like, motherfuckers, do you know when the big house was built? That shit was built in 1920.
Yeah.
Like, they're not updating it to have multiple tunnels just for the players. It is what it is.
Right.
And it's like, thank you, Captain Obvious. Also.
I want to do more with Rocket's gun. But I feel like a lot of that might just come with when I go to highlight with the traditional paints. What was I gonna do? I was gonna do the whole gun in Runic Gray. Yeah. Oh, I guess Stallone wrote that series? That's interesting.
Oh boy.
Yes, yes, I just immediately had less faith in it.
I bet his
This-
buddy's name is Paulie.
Does he always have a buddy named Paulie?
Well, all the Rocky movies, the one guy is in every one of them. I think his name was Paulie. Oh,
Gotcha.
damn, that's not good.
What you do?
Got paint on my brush hand. It's not a good thing. I'm gonna touch some shit and then make it all metallic now. Feel it.
Hmm. Alright, let's slap a little magic blue in here. Is this the brightest blue I have? I think it is. You know what I should have done? I should have taken my yellow and I should have put a drop of like my brightest traditional yellow in it. Almost done like a 50-50 with it.
Hmm.
I think that would have given it a much more naturally vibrant look. I almost wish I would have done the same with my orange. I might go back and redo the orange because the orange is looking really brown, especially with him having a brown skin tone. I don't particularly want
Hmm.
brown
Right.
jacket on him. We're gonna slap some blue back here. Also, just to just put some color on this model. I think we're about to have a tabletop acceptable paint job on Rocket in about 15 minutes.
Pretty good time.
Now, if you went to a tournament like, hey, all your models have to be painted, this would pass. You're not going to win the competition. But basically just needs to dry, and then the finishing touches with like the traditional paints and dry brushing and whatnot. One thing that I need to, what I need to try, I'm yet to try not contrast, speed paints in the way that they're intended, which is like all white model, and then just slap them on there. Like,
I mean, it works good and it's quick. I mean, I'm just from my experience with contrast.
so this is which that back plate is going to be silver, but this is a and the face needs all of its attention, the teeth, the tongue, all that stuff. But yeah, here's 15 minutes on Rocket. Oh, my knee hurts. Oh, the other night. So most nights I will eat like half a gummy around like 8:30 or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then 9:30 rolls around, I go to bed. Well, I knew I didn't work the next morning, so I was like, I'll eat a full gummy tonight. Screw it, whatever. We're getting ready to sit down and watch TV. Well, as soon as we get ready to watch TV, her dad calls. And I'm like, well, shit, they're going to be on the phone for a while. Like, fuck it, I'm going to go down and get on Tarkov for a few minutes. And then I get on Tarkov and, it, crashed on me once and this and that. And I'm just, sitting. I basically came downstairs and sat in loading screens for, 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in that time, I hit the vape, 3, 4, maybe 5 times. And I was like, man, oh, yeah, I forgot. I ate a gummy, 20 minutes ago. I should probably back off this a little bit. So I play Tarkov for half hour or so, and then get one tapped by God himself. That's the one I was referring about. It scared the shit out of me. I'm running around woods and just I thought it was one of the goons. I thought it was Bird Eye, but it wasn't. It was a player, and I was like, fuck this. I'm done for the night. Whatever. I go upstairs and she gets off the phone with her dad, and we start watching our show. And she just kind of laughs. She goes, "How high are you right now?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, I don't think I am. She goes, "You don't turn the TV up very loud when you're high." And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, "That's not true. That can't be a thing." And I checked the volume on the TV, and it was on 6. And I was just like, because we normally watch TV 10 to 12, depending on the show.
Right.
And it was on 6, and she's like, "Yeah, I can't even hear the TV." And I'm like, "Oh." I was like, maybe I am a little high. But it's just apparently I don't turn the volume up on the TV very loud when I'm high. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. It's I don't.
Now you're just gonna be checking yourself all the time.
Right?
Am I high?
Yeah.
Turn the TV on.
What's the volume?
So have you got Stour into Tarkov then?
Yeah, but I think so with it being his first wipe and him starting what is essentially late wipe, it's fucking brutal. I think he's pretty much all right, I'm good enough to be done with this wipe, because it's definitely at that rough part of wipe where it's man, the Giga Chads are just, the people that get to play that game every single day just end up with such an advantage this late. It's where like you basically either have to play like a rat or just die all the time. All I've been trying to do is work on like this one particular trader to get my Bitcoin farm to level 3. Like that's all I really want is like a max hideout and I'd be super happy. But it just hasn't happened. Well, yeah, because I got to do these tasks, and they're all on a map that I hate. But, like, next wipe, I'll know, like, hey, I need to work on these tasks earlier than this. Because I'm doing tasks that I got at, like, level 12, you know? I really want to paint this guy.
Yeah, I think that, too, is, like, you guys didn't... I mean, you were still, like, learning the game, obviously. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna run woods all the time because you know woods, instead of being like, oh yeah, I got this task on whatever the fuck, but you never go there because you're just like, I don't know the map and I know I'm gonna get killed.
Right.
Especially when you're playing with like Dragon, who I don't think in real life has any sense of direction.
Oh my god. Sometimes when you're like, go left, and you just literally watch him pull a 90 to the right, and it's like, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. Alright, we're going to mix Fire Giant Orange Speed Paint with Orange Fire regular paint and see if we can't get a little bit better orange on Rocket here. It's definitely orangier. I'm just curious as to how it's going to dry. Because right now it just seems like an overly thinned paint, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those are supposed to be blue. Okay, you took French in high school, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Cause we were in the airport the other day, and there was a group of, I don't know, probably college kids in there, and they were sitting near us, and they were speaking French, and I told Ronnie, I said I would rather be sitting next to people speaking Spanish than French, and she was like, "You are out of your mind," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "At least like." There's like an elegantness to French, I guess. But like I just can't stand the way that they like drag out a mumble at the end of every word. That I'm like, fuck this. I'm like, I would rather listen to someone speak Spanish. And I was like, well, I don't know. Maybe it's just because like when people speak Spanish, I can like pick up on small things here and there, and I'm like, okay, like, you know, whatever. But when they speak French, I was just like, I'm so annoyed.
Yeah, it's not easy to pick up.
Just every word, just it's a bit like at the end of it, it's a bit, and it's just like, can you fucking not? All right, that orange looks a lot better. Looks a lot better. A lot better. Do I have some blue left? Yeah, I got some blue. We need blue over here. Now we're gonna do that same thing with yellow. We're gonna take the brightest yellow that I have. Do a drop of that. We're gonna do moon yellow. One drop of moon yellow. And then we're gonna grab our speed paint yellow. And so that we don't waste any paint, we're probably going to throw a little yellow on Dr. Octopus while I'm at it. Trying to find an image from the comics here for Dr. Octopus. Okay. Sorry anyone, I'm painting off stream right now just because the way that I gotta hold this. There we go, much nicer yellow. Once it dries, I think it'll look really pretty. And then I gotta finish the rest of the gun and all that stuff. But alright, Doc Ock. What's yellow on you? Hey, your gloves are yellow. Let's go ahead and punch this in there. There we go. We started Doc Ock. We got his gloves. Are his boots yellow? His boots are yellow. Woohoo! Throw some yellow on him. I'm just like randomly grabbing things and putting paint on them at this point.
Yeah, like a little metallic. Someone's like, all right, I'll go back through and start hitting this dude.
It's probably the only thing keeping me awake for this main event fight.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to call it here, man.
That's fine. I am going to do the same. Now that I got Doc Ock's big old rubber boots on him. There. Alright, well. Here's Hulkbuster. not finished, but I did pretty much what I wanted to do. I love the look. The speed paints on them metallic, especially straight out of the bottle. Speed paints too. I didn't thin them. I didn't mix them with nothing. They come out looking great. But all right, if anyone watches this, thanks for swinging by. Uh, and yeah, we'll see what happens.